Okay, so I am really excited today because I have Beyond the Map's Edge, the book, and then I had downloaded it to Kindle and I started looking on my actual phone for the Kindle version, and more things just immediately started jumping out. So I want to show you kind of how I'm breaking down the chapters. This is probably the 7th time I've taken a look at this chapter. I've made some other videos on some keywords that jumped out, but let's just go ahead and jump right into the Mom's House chapter. So this is a little bit different format video. I wanted to just share kind of how my brain works, how I've been dissecting this puzzle, and we're going to jump right in. Page 1, Mom's House. I went ahead and underlined words in my book. And then, like I was saying, I started in on the Kindle version. And so it breaks the chapters down into very small groupings of paragraphs on my phone. And more things just started jumping out. So let's take a look at Mom's House. There were 2 numbers that jumped out right here to me. He says when he's 4 that he mastered the art of shoelace tying. So we have the number 4 and shoelace tying. I think this ties into a nice bow, but this is also the pattern of how you would tie your shoes. So the other number that we have is 2. So 2 Christmases, 2 birthdays, 2 chances. So 2 times 3, we have 6, or you could go with 2 and the number 4 on this first page. I have another video where I talk about the Sentinels and Saguaro National Park. The only thing that jumps out about the word Saguaro to me is arms. We have a few more numbers that jump out. 3 boys. So when I think of 3 boys, I think of Legends of the Fall. And take a look at that video where I talk about some of the Montana movies. So Legends of the Fall is set in Montana, and one of these boys shared the appetite for mischief, and that makes me think of one character in the movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. So again, we have 3 years here and 3 boys. So we have the number 3. And then we had birthdays, and we had Christmases and 2 chances. So that's also the number 3. Other things that jump out here are shadow and shifting time, which is a theme throughout the entire treasure hunt. And brothers, that's also another key point to the treasure hunt, I believe. And then we have ground zero. So there's 2 numbers on this page. We have 3 and we have a 0. You come down here, I'd already talked about the biblical ties, biblical characters in another video. Go ahead and check that out if you're interested in how that keeps showing up in the book. But right here, what I wanted to point out was chickens. So this is my very funny rabbit hole on chickens. We have chickens and tie, and that goes back to the bow tie. So tying shoelaces, tying, that shows up twice. And then we have rodeo royalty, which is 2 R's. I think royalty is an important word. I would write that down. And then here we have charm bracelets. So when I think of a charm bracelet, I think of collecting from different places. So I used to have a charm bracelet, and I would get a charm for a different experience or location that I had been at. And then he talks about ballerina, which if you were collecting charm bracelets and you were into ballet, you would get a ballet charm. And another video talks about the protractor that I did. So you're precisely calculating with a protractor. Again, here comes back to my chicken. So tactical. Tactical keeps showing up in here, hiding secret locations. So I'll show you when I started Googling tactical chicken. So I'm putting together the words tactical and chicken. Here we have tactical again. This could be another number if you wanted 25, a quarter horse. And a quarter horse should be capitalized here because it is a breed of horse. And circus. So when you think of circus, what do you think of? Performances. You think of different acts and what could be considered a circus name. So I'd write that down. And then we have Laugh and Warner Brothers. We have Daffy Duck. So I'm bringing together Laughing and I'm bringing together Warner Brothers because he does talk about the coyote and the roadrunner. And he also talks about chickens in this chapter. So we have Laugh, Warner Brothers, Chicken. That's what I'm tying together right now. And we have a performance and animation, thinking Warner Brothers. Performance, I'm also thinking like a stage, a more Laughing, animation, Laughing, Warner Brothers. So I'm going to tie that into Looney Tunes. So there is a lot going on in this first chapter. And here I underline this because we're assessing every corner and every edge. So beyond the map's edge, we're going to be looking in the corners possibly. Is it subtle? So this chapter to me is jam-packed and it's kind of leading you on how you would start looking at the other chapters in the book. So here I have 3 R's. So I'm kind of looking for repeating patterns. So I grabbed 3 R's out of this chapter. Legends, whispering, that keeps showing up again and again as you keep going through the book. Mannequins have arms like saguaro cactuses. Impersonations. So we have Laughing, impersonations, performance. That would make you think of a theater. Bemused, chuckles. That would be more Laughing. Then we have another number, a dozen eggs. Let's go back to look at what the chicken might represent. And then this, the jolting and electricity keeps showing up. So I would write down electricity. We have the light, we have the dark. Olympic sport shows up, racing, theater, and punchline. So that takes me back to a few other words in this chapter. Punchline, theater. We have Laughing, we have a performance. More Laughing. Okay, so now I'm going to take you into my Google searches. So here we have the American Quarter Horse. As I said, it's a breed of horse. It excels at running short distances. So in the book, we have references to running. So it could reference the American Quarter Horse, who is good at sprinting. And then I'm just going to take you back here and show you the horse named Pepper is a white horse. Pepper is generally what I think of as black or darker. So a white horse named Pepper, that is an American Quarter Horse. could be a clue. So now I'm going to show you my chicken theory. So I'm tying it into Warner Brothers, which is mentioned, and I typed in Warner Brothers chicken, and the Warner Brothers chicken is Foghorn Leghorn. It has a ties to Texas, but it also has ties to a rancher. So we have mentions of ranches, we have mentions of horses, and here he's known for his joke comments, and we have many mentions to laughing in this chapter. So I went ahead and looked up some of the comedy animated chicken movies to see if there were any ties there. Spoiler alert, I didn't find anything too fascinating with this, but I'm going to put that on the side for now. But I definitely think there's something going on here with a chicken, and I definitely think it has something to do with Warner Brothers, because the coyote and the roadrunner are mentioned, as well as Acme. So I kind of just kept looking for chicken. And when I first typed in chicken, I typed in the tactical chicken, and it took me to a YouTube video of a guy talking about a tactical chicken story. So if you find that little Easter egg there, that's kind of funny. But that might also be what we're looking at here, are little Easter eggs tied in. And I saw the word circus and performers. So I looked up circuses in Montana, and later in the book, it also mentions an elephant, which is a circus performer, and tightrope walking, also circus. And then not sure that ballet dancers tie into the circus, but they might. So in this chapter here, we have a lot of different words going on in one chapter. So one of the words that jumped out was white picket fence. And I took a look at the picture of the horse, and the horse is white, but the horse pictured is named Pepper. So we have a white horse, we have white picket fence. You might be able to find some more references. But then I started looking up a few key words on page 3. We have adrenaline, fear, tear, a jolt of power, a jolt of energy, clinging, shaking, and it's in a small little paragraph and frozen. So I am looking for a historical story in the state I'm looking in that has all of these key points to the historical reference. Adrenaline, fear, tear, shaking, frozen. Frozen comes up again and again. Frozen faces, shock, startled, running, and legends. So you're looking for some type of historical, legendary figure who was frozen, shocked, startled. He was shocked again. He had a jolt of power, so maybe something having to do with lightning. And he was running. We also have a reference to dense foliage. So frozen, shock, ran, startled, shocked. Legend, adrenaline, fear, tear, shaking, and frozen. So that doesn't really tie into the lighter side, but we do reference dark and light here. And we have the darker side with the frozen tear, and the lighter side, we have the color white, we have laughing, we have dancing, we have the circus. Many references to performances, laughing, a stage. So I'm going to look into theaters. some sort of theater reference. So let's see what else. So I just kept looking for a theater reference, but that's for another day.
Foghorn Leghorn! The Stoic Sentinels of Saguaro National Park East. Well, what's the difference anyways? Saguaro National Monument in Tucson was created in 1933, expanded in 1961, and became Saguaro National Park in 1994. There are two units, east, which includes the Rincon Mountains, and west, which includes part of the Tucson Mountains. Saguaro National Park is divided into two distinct areas, the Tucson Mountain District on the west side and the Rincon Mountain District on the east side. While both areas share the same iconic saguaro cacti, they offer different experiences and attractions. Extensive trails. As I've been reading Beyond the Map's Edge, a certain theme keeps tugging at me. Shift in time and shadows one line from the poem Wisdom Waits in Shadowed Sight. At first I skimmed past it, but then I started seeing it everywhere. The mention of shifting light moments lost in the past, even scenes described at dawn or dusk. It's subtle but intentional. And then it clicked, clocks. Shadow of a mountain. The way the sun moves through the sky and casts shadows differently depending on time and season. It reminded me of something from the Netflix series Golden Greed. Remember the clock clue in that one? Yet the time the clock pointed to was the key. Suddenly, I'm rethinking every description in this book where time is mentioned or where light and shadow are involved. Could there be a real-world location where the shadow of a peak lands in the right spot at a certain time of day? Is wisdom literally revealed in the shadows? I don't have the full picture yet, but something's ticking. Here's something that really caught my attention, and maybe it's just a fun detail, or maybe it's more, Justin's talks about being at his mom's house, reminiscing about all the animals they had growing up. He goes through a whole list, but one mention stuck with me, fancy rats. Now, I actually had fancy rats as pets too, so that line jumped off the page for me. It felt oddly specific, like unnecessarily specific unless it mattered. And here's where it gets more interesting. There's another reference to the word fancy later in the book. Once is flavor. Twice? Maybe it's a thread. Maybe it's breadcrumb level important. But then Justin makes a passing comment that kind of floored me. He says all those animals from his childhood, it was like reliving the whole biblical Noah story. And now I'm thinking 2 by 2. A boat, a location name, an ark. Could this be pointing us to a place named after the Noah story? Or maybe an ark-shaped rock formation? Maybe a place? Something symbolic? Or maybe the clue is hiding in plain sight, just like those rats. It's the kind of thing that seems random until it doesn't. There's this page Justin's talking about his mom and her horse. It starts off feeling like a memory, a bit of personal backstory, that then it shifts. He mentions precisely calculated, and a protractor. And that stopped me. Why drop those words here? Why tools in the middle of a horse story? Then he describes the horse like it's performing ballet. No, if you've ever watched ballet, you know it's all about precision, balance, and direction. Dancers point, they move with intent, and they're always on their toes. That's when it clicked for me. Maybe the clue here isn't about the horse at all. Maybe it's about how to approach the map. The calculator helps with numbers. The protractor measures angles maybe for triangulating points. The stirrups on the saddle, they help you balance maybe just like how you balance an equation or line up a compass. Could this be pointing to a map-based puzzle that requires mathematical accuracy? Or maybe a location where the angle of the sun or the shadow of a peak has to be measured just right. It's subtle, but I don't think it's random. The treasure might not just be hidden on a trail, it might be hiding in the geometry of the journey. There's been a lot of chatter on the Discord about the treasure's location. One state keeps coming up, Montana. Now, I wasn't sold at first, but then I tried something just for fun. I overlaid the Beyond the Map's Edge book cover onto the shape of Montana. And you know what? It fits eerily well. Like weirdly well. The shapes align, the features match up, and I never noticed this before, but the Montana silhouette, it has a nose, a literal nose, like a face in profile. What does that mean? I don't know for sure, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. And the more I think about it, the more clues start pointing north. Granite cliffs, Montana's got 'em. Shadowed peaks for wisdom waiting in shadowed sight? Absolutely. Double arcs? Maybe natural rock formations or something man-made hidden in the wilderness. Even the biblical and animal themes could tie into places like Noah Cooley or wildlife sanctuaries. Montana is huge, remote, wild, perfect for hiding something valuable or sacred or forgotten. So here's another breadcrumb I've been sitting on somewhere in the book. There's a reference to a lookout tower. Just a passing line, but those are the ones that usually hide the big clues, right? Now, I haven't had time to fully go down this rabbit hole yet, but it's sitting there waiting, tempting. You can actually visit firelookout.com and it shows a full map of fire towers across the US, both active and decommissioned. You can actually visit firelookout.com and it shows a full map of fire towers across the US, both active and decommissioned. Think about it. Lookout towers are all about vantage points. They're built at elevations with 360-degree views, ideal for spotting smoke or maybe something else. They're often located on remote trails with names tied to nature, weather, or even history. And remember our earlier clues? Protractors, angles, shadows, time of day. Could we be measuring where shadows fall from or onto a tower? It's the perfect intersection of practical and poetic. So the question becomes, are we looking for a specific tower? A shadow it casts at a certain time? Or something hidden beneath? Or in view of one? I haven't pieced it all together yet, but something tells me this tower isn't just for watching the forest. It's for watching us. First it was Noah. Now it's Moses. That's two biblical heavy hitters showing up in Beyond the Map's Edge. And both of them connected by water. Noah builds an ark, survives a flood. Moses parts the Siande. Before that, he's a baby floating in a basket down the river. But maybe it's not just metaphor. Maybe it's a map. Water's shown up again and again, rivers, shadows, reflections. The Bible uses water as a symbol of journey, transformation, and even hiding precious thing, but maybe it's not just metaphor. Maybe it's a map. Could the treasure be near a river crossing? A split in the water like a canyon or a confluence? Or maybe we're looking for something tucked in a basket-like hollow waiting to be found? These aren't just stories, they're instructions. You just have to read between the waves. You know what's wild? That whole Moses parting the Red Sea metaphor? It flows perfectly into one of the most legendary explorers of the American frontier, Jim Bridger. Bridger wasn't just your average mountain man. He was among the first non-Indigenous people to lay eyes on Yellowstone's geysers, to raft the Bighorn River, and to reach the Great Salt Lake in a bullboat, no less. But here's where it gets chillingly relevant. Bridger once described a place south of Yellowstone Lake where a single creek splits sand. The waters flow in two completely opposite directions. One side runs west to the Pacific. The other flows east to the Atlantic. He called it the parting of the waters. It's not just poetic, it's real geography. It's called Two Ocean Pass. And suddenly I'm thinking, is that what the poem is hinting at? A divide? A choice? A place where you stand and water flows away from you in two directions at once? Like the Red Sea, but in reverse. Instead of parting the sea to walk through, you stand between the parting, looking both ways. Two possible outcomes. Two directions the treasure could go. And Bridger? He didn't just talk about rivers, he rode the rapids at Bighorn and survived, something no one else was known to do. That's not just history. That's legend. And maybe, just maybe, that's a map. All right, that's enough hints for today. I've dropped some breadcrumbs, some small, some maybe not so small. So tell me, did you already have any of these words highlighted? Are you starting to feel like you're on the right track? Or maybe did something we talked about today spark a whole new clue? Because that's the beauty of this hunt. It's not just about solving puzzles, it's about seeing things. Whatever trail you're following, keep going. Keep reading between the lines. And most of I'll trust your gut. It usually knows where the map is pointing.
Searching for a whisper in the pines. Mystery lurks in the shadow of the oaks. Legacy of treasure buried in lines. Legends wrapped in nature's unspoken jokes. Footprints fade in the morning dew. Gold hides beneath moss and vine. Legends lead to fortunes anew in the breast of mountains standing fine. Beyond the map, where secrets lie, hearts race beneath the endless sky. Riches wait where all goes sigh. Adventurers take the leap and fly, fly, echoes of yore weave the tale. Forest fence whispers still alive. Once a dream, now a winding trail. New quests on the horizon arrive. Stars guide the restless hearts, following the call of ancient charts. Whispers lead for those who start to chase the dream with insatiable smarts. Beyond restless.